Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NR 2021 NASCAR season back here on the channel. This time it is All-Star Weekend, an exhibition race, no points awarded. So very excited to bring this to you guys here today from Texas Motor Speedway. We're not excited about the track, but the racing in NR 2003 should be crazy enough to make up for the track that we are at here today. But we are here to start things off with the Open. You got both the Open and the All-Star race coming. We might do it in separate episodes, but still post them on the same day. We'll see. I'll come up with a decision after that. But first up is the Open. So we're trying to follow along closely to the real life format for both of these races. But for the Open, we're going to be doing 15 laps. We're going to throw a caution, and then whoever wins that first round moves into the All-Star race. And we'll do, they're crashing currently on the pit lane. Don't worry about that. We're going to get that sorted out in a second. But the second round will also be 15 laps, and once again, whoever wins that one will move on to the All-Star race, and then we'll do about a 10-lap dash. We'll call a caution after lap 10, and then whoever moves on, or whoever wins that, moves on to the All-Star race as well. So don't even bother paying attention to 17 up on the top of your screen. So getting ready, though, to go for this All-Star race, I am, of course, joined by Jay in the booth. There you see up front, we do got Tyler Reddick as well as Christopher Bell getting ready to lead the field to the green here this time by. So, Jay, I mean, we're coming here to the green this time by. Who do you think, I mean, in this All-Star Open has the best opportunity to get themselves in here today to the All-Star race?
Well, I certainly think Tyler Reddick has to be one that we think of as a favorite to get himself into this race. He's starting on pole. Obviously, he's been strong all season long. So I expect him to get himself into the race. I also expect Suarez to race his way in, probably De Benedetto. And then, honestly, I'm trying to think of a dark horse that could have a chance. Maybe Ryan Preece, maybe Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones, maybe. And then, of course, you can't forget about Christopher Bell in the 20 as well. So I think there's a pretty good shot that at least three of the top five guys right now lock themselves into this race with these stage wins, and then maybe even Christopher Bell as well.
Now, the roster is pretty similar, but we still had it follow along with the eligibility rules with how it's going for real life. So, obviously, Michael McDowell hadn't won this season for NR Series, so he is actually having to race his way in. And same for a guy like Christopher Bell as well. There you see him currently on the top. But a guy like Bubba Wallace, he's already in because he won the Coca-Cola 600, as well as like Ross Chastain as well. So, those guys are in instead of having to race their way in through the open. But you can already see, I mean, 2x2 double file racing. These speeds right here seem very high, Jay. I mean, obviously we know what the current package is like, but this is my first time seeing the raw speed of these cars, and they seem to be going really fast for this racetrack.
They are going really fast. I actually wasn't expecting that either. These guys are flying right now at the moment. I think
186.
that, yeah, I think this is the fastest we've seen them go this season, except for maybe Vegas. I know they fly around Vegas as well, so this could be another race, kind of like Vegas, where they were in a big pack together for the first 10 or 15 laps or so. It kind of looked like a Daytona race, and so that looks like already what we're going to see here as well. I don't know if it'll last the entire stage, but if it does, that means the guy who's on the inside is right there at the very lucky moment is going to be the one who wins this race, because we've already seen a couple guys go to the outside and they get immediately shuffled out by that inside line.
And one thing we need to mention is at the end of these stages, the field is going to be randomly, not inverted, but just randomly placed for the next stage to just spice it up even more. So at the end of these 15 laps, whoever is in first moves on to the end of the All-Star race. Then we randomly just move the field around, and then we'll go back for another stage and then do the same thing one more time and have that final stage, which is only going to be 10 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do. Now you're just pretty tame racing right now. I've done a little bit of testing with a 40 car pack, and it's dangerous. I can tell you that right now. I mean, the way these guys are racing, you can tell what it could be like when we go here, later this year in the playoffs. But currently, Eric Jones to the lead. McDowell actually making it 3 wide for the lead right there as we go down this back straightaway. I mean, Jay, there's going to be a lot of opportunity with the way this package is here to make those moves. And honestly, it also opens the door just with how heavily this draft is right now. I mean, you can see a guy like McDowell probably race his way in here today.
Yeah, I think as long as you keep yourself hooked to that inside line, then that's going to be the key to success here. I mean, like I mentioned already, we've seen guys get pushed out of that outside line as soon as they go to the lead, and they start to fall back. Honestly, I don't know if you want to be somebody in second or third on that inside line right now. I think you want to be lined up about 6 there, because that's going to be where you end up when this race ends, because of how those cars just keep eventually shuffling their way out. So at the moment, I think being somewhere towards the middle ground of this inside line is where you want to be.
And you see some three wide racing in the back here. Definitely, these guys are not holding back. I mean, they're trying to get into the All Star race. We're already about halfway through this first stage of this All Star Open, as well as we do have a fan vote prepared. I've already put up a poll. We basically use the same 5 drivers that are in real life in the top 5 right now, and whoever wins the poll in our YouTube community post is going to get into the All-Star race here once we're done recording this Open here. So Suarez back to the lead. I mean, I think Jay, so far what we're seeing here, I mean, of course, it's just his first stage of this 15 laps, but that 99 Suarez looks pretty sporty here so far in that Trackhouse car.
I think he's also ran his way back into the lead from that outside line, and I did not expect to see anyone be able to do that. So certainly seems like he's got a strong car at the moment. We know how strong that team has been this season in their first year. And look at this, a Rick Ware car going 3 wide for the lead. Man, these guys, I swear they're racing at Talladega right now and not Texas. This is wild.
Great racing here, 3x3. We got 3 rows deep of 3 wide racing right now. As Suarez, he's all the way on the top now. He's not going in the second lane. He's going in the third lane. There goes Christopher Bell to the inside of JJ Yaley as we go down this back straightaway. But then as soon as Bell moved up, that opened the door wide open for Ryan Preece to just go by on the inside. Now Suarez stuck up there on the top. We're going to see if we can work his way back from that. Now, that's going to be quite the disadvantage. You see in the background there, Matt DiBenedetto having some issues. Well, not issues, but just running pretty slow right now. So very unfortunate for him. We'll see if he can move his way forwards. But I can tell you right now, it's looking pretty good in the fan vote for him, as we might be 4 wide on the exit of turn 2. Jay, 4 wide in the All-Star Open, and oh, it's going to cause issues. We got an incident here in Texas now. Oh, LaJoy, the 00 Quinn Hal Freaky Stenhouse Jr. involved as well. I was just about to mention Jay 4 wide. Probably not going to be the best idea, and I think they just proved that for us before I could get the words out of my mouth.
It didn't take long once they went 4 wide. Not a lot of room to make that work here. Especially with guys wanting to stay in that pack, not lose the draft with how important it obviously showed to be right here at the beginning of the race. So unfortunate that we're only 11 laps into this thing, and we've seen at least 1 car DNF there of Klinhoff. There may be a couple of others who got severe enough damage to DNF. Actually, he's back on track. I thought I saw him disappear. But yeah, certainly not what these guys want to have already to their race 11 laps in.
I think these guys are going to be pretty good. The 47, the 96, they do look pretty good. They're probably going to get them into the pit lane fixed up. 00 will be out for sure. But now, all of a sudden, for this first little segment, this is going to create like a 2-lap dash to determine who wins the first one. Going to be interesting to see what happens with this. We are going to go for a quick break here. We got a couple laps before they go green, so we'll be right back and bring it to the end of this first segment to decide the first driver that gets into tonight's All-Star race here from Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back from the break here, getting ready to go green in Texas. 2 things to note quickly. We will take a look at that crash after this restart, because this is the restart to decide who gets in to the All-Star race, and we were going to end it, of course, on lap 15, but since we're going green, it's going to be a 2-lap dash now, as it's considered a green-white checkered for this first stage. So the checkered flag will be hit when we hit lap 17, basically. So not when we complete lap 17. As soon as we start lap 17, finishing 16, this first segment comes to a close. And I mean, Jay, look at right now, the top 5 cars. We got the 37, the 52, the 51, the 62. I mean, 4 of those guys we would not expect to be anywhere near eligible to make it into this All-Star race.
3 of the top 5 guys are Rick Ware racing cars, so obviously they were in perfect position there for that caution to come out. I don't know if we're going to be able to see somebody like Daniel Suarez have enough time to get his way back up to the front here, but I certainly think that Christopher Bell's going to have enough time. Those cars are definitely slower than he is, and he's got the advantage to go to that inside right away.
And out of turn 2, yeah, Bell moves up 1 spot already. Ryan Preece looking to race his way in. And now Bell already looking to the inside of the 51. As soon as they come around, I'll get the command in for the caution as they are coming to the final lap of this first segment. Ryan Preece looking to race his way in to the All-Star race here in 2021. Now as they come through down the front straightaway, white flag in the air in segment 1. And we will come around one more time. Can Preece hold them off? Bell makes an aggressive move right there. He's going to force it potentially 3 wide on the exit of turns 2, but that is just going to allow the 37 to drive away. But Bell gets clear as as Suarez getting aggressive in the background as well, but it looks like it's all Ryan Preece as they come through turns 3 and 4. And now, actually, Cody Ware forces it up the inside right there as they come through out of turns 4. Ryan Preece will come through to race his way into the All-Star race by winning the first segment from Texas Motor Speedway. A tremendous job by him there. I think Jay Bell making that 3-wide move really allowed Preece to run away with it right there.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, if you're Christopher Bell in that situation, you have to do that. You have to get going. It took him a little bit longer to get around those Wick Rare cars than I expected, and he even got challenged back by Cody Ware as well. So he had a bit of a struggle there on that restart, and I didn't expect that. But all that happening gave Ryan Preece the advantage. He got away from the field and was able to get this stage 1 victory. And he's able to put himself into the All-Star race. So good for Ryan Preece, and congratulations to him.
And before we jump into the second stage here for the All-Star Open, we're going to get a quick look at what brought out that caution with that crash just a few minutes ago. They're setting up for that last restart. Over top view of what happened there in this crash. They all just kind of come together, it looks like right there, Jay, and then obviously no one could really do anything at that point except just try and get through.
Yeah, when you're 4 wide, there's just not enough room for that. And cars are going to come together, and then with that happening right at the beginning of the pack as well, honestly, I'm surprised that there weren't more cars involved in that. So good job by most of these guys to get through, but unfortunately, some of these guys unfortunately got caught up and into their days to try and get into this All-Star race.
And now we are going to get ready to go green for the second segment here, but we're going to take a quick break and then get you guys ready to go green for yet another 15-lap dash here from Texas Motor Speedway. Now we are back from Texas Motor Speedway, getting ready to go now for this second segment here. Once again, 15 laps to determine who gets in to the All-Star race. I don't believe Anthony Alfredo is no longer going to be a part of this segment here, as it appears he is blowing up. And this actually happened once already. I think it was, he had issues before. We're not giving him a pass this time. He is out. Alfredo is done for. Unfortunate for him. As well as the 00 of Quinn Half and the 96 are out from that last crash that we had. They were way too far out the speed. So fortunately, the way we're doing this, we were able to get them out of this race. So the 38 of Alfredo will join them. But Jay, I mean, a lot of action there in that first segment. I think definitely kind of giving us a taste of what this second segment's going to be like. Less cars, which I guess might be a good thing for some of these guys. But nonetheless, I think we're in store for yet another crazy 15 laps here from Texas.
I agree with that as well. We're going to see these guys packed up once again, and we'll get to see them, deal with how they get to the bottom line and all that kind of stuff. We know how good the bottom line is, and so that is obviously where you want to be. And right now, if I am Kaz Gralla there in the 16 or any of those guys right there towards the end of the bottom line, I think you're in the catbird seat, because that's where you want to be. You want to be towards the back end of the bottom line as this race goes on, because you will be up towards the front of this race as we get towards the end of it.
So Eric Jones up front along with Chase Briscoe after the field was randomly set up for this second segment as we are back underway. So 15 laps once again here as we got Suarez there in that second row. De Benedetto really benefited from that. He was towards the back there, was able to avoid that trouble with that incident that happened, and now here he is up in P3. Right now, I mean, like we already mentioned, we do have a fan vote, and right now I can tell you, as it is looking right now, De Benedetto has about 52% of the 202 votes currently on this vote. So it looks like, Jay, if De Benedetto can keep that car in good shape, he's going to get himself into the All-Star race no matter what.
Yeah, all he's got to do is just avoid a wreck here. And of course, he doesn't necessarily know that he's winning the fan votes. Just assume that and stick towards the back here. He has to go for a stage win here. But yeah, he's got to avoid the wrecks. Avoid any kind of incident, keep his car clean, and it seems like he's certainly going to be into the All-Star race, even if he doesn't win a stage.
Suarez are getting a little bit aggressive, forcing it 3 wide now between Chase Briscoe and J.J. Yaley there in that Rick Ware Chevrolet Camaro. So Suarez not waiting around now, as he is not, of course, in position to get that fan vote luxury right now. He is up in the mix, but not enough. So he has to win a stage here if he wants to get into this All-Star race. Or, of course, if De Benedetto somehow wins this stage or the next stage, well, Suarez could find a way in. But now, as they come through turns 3 and 4, they're starting starting to do that 3x3x3 again. It gets just more dangerous as they go. Now, as I don't know, Jay, I think if a guy that races their way in, I mean, if DiBenedetto crashes their car, do they have enough time to get that thing fixed before the All-Star race even starts? Or, I mean, what happens there?
I guess it depends on how damaged the car is. If it's not terrible damage and they can just get it in and get it fixed quickly, then they'll be okay. But if it's something terminal or some really heavy body damage, then I don't think he'd be able to get in. And obviously that fan vote would go to second place as well if that's what he winds up having to rely on. So I think for all intents and purposes, you just have to hope if you're DiBenedetto's team, you avoid any incidents. Because there's that chance of the All-Star fan vote. But you still have to go for it as well. You can't just sit back and try and rely on
Oh,
that fan vote as we're having a wreck.
Oh, the 47, who was involved in the last incident as well, but he didn't get much damage. I actually don't think he's going to get much damage again, but the 53 of Yaley goes around. The caution's going to come out here as they go down this front straightaway 3 wide. In the middle, there's the 8 of Tyler Reddick. Caution is out, and second caution of the day has come out here from Texas. Now, as it looked pretty straightforward there, I was going to note, it looked like they were about 4 wide for a moment, and I tried to get focused on that as quick as I could, and then you just saw the 47 just turn the 53 into the inside wall. So, I mean, we're just going to take a quick look at that right away. These guys are not going to be coming into the pit lane, so we're going to take a quick look at that and get ready to go back green. Out of turns 2, right here, you're going to see Stenhouse and the 53 of Yaley come together. Jay, it kind of looks like Yaley just kind of came across the nose there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, nothing that Stenhouse could do there, and he's not had a great start to this open race. It's 2 wrecks, and he's been involved in both. I think he's okay for damage. I don't think he's gotten heavy damage in either one of those wrecks. Certainly a little bit heavier this time around, but yeah, just not going great so far for Ricky Stenhouse.
Now back to the live scene. The field already getting ready to go back green. The pace car just pulled off, so we are back underway, and now it is just going to be about a 6-lap dash or about a 7-lap dash. We're just on lap 9 here to decide who gets in. And I mean, once again, Jay, obviously we're seeing how these guys are racing, so there's plenty of time for it to change up. But once again, just kind of like towards the or after the caution in that first segment, we once again have guys that usually are never in the mix all of a sudden here with an opportunity to get into this race.
Yeah, there's lots more time for this one to get going, though, so I don't think we're going to see them stay in that prime position. Kind of like we saw there with the first stage. I think we'll certainly see guys like Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, Matt DiBenedetto. I think we'll see them have a lot of time to get up towards the front here, and who knows, we could maybe even see Eric Jones steal this one away.
There you see Eric Jones. I mean, he after the random selection, he was actually on that front row there for the second segment. Now working his way back forward. Suarez there making some moves. He's on that top lane right now. But now Chris Buescher to the lead. I mean, Jay, a guy like Buescher leads the regular season standings for the majority of the season. He is now no longer the regular season standing leader in our series. But it's almost a bit of a surprise to see him here because we've seen how good he's done this season. But obviously, he doesn't have that win, which he needs to have coming into this one, but I think it was just it almost feels wrong seeing him here.
Yeah, he's consistently consistent the entire season. It's been a little bit rougher for him recently, and he's lost that points lead because of it. But for the majority of this season, he's always been finishing inside the top 10. He's been avoiding the issues. Another crash once again. He's not avoiding the issue this time.
Oh, DiBenedetto head on into the wall. A big hit for him. Oh, and it's going to get worse right there. Wow, that was big. And that, wow, right there is going to force probably a 2-lap dash again to decide. It actually might end this segment now that I think about it based off of the lap timing. 17 is not making the All-Star race. Neither is the 34. The 21 is going to have to rely on the fan vote. It's NR2003. We'll let DiBenedetto get in if he wins the fan vote. I mean, now it looks like they just have to put a new engine in the car. But Daniel Suarez, wow, he was right in the middle of that. He got really lucky, it looks like. It's only some left door damage on the left side of his car. But wow, a big moment right there. And I believe that could end. We'll see. We might still be able to get a 2-lap dash. We'll decide in just a minute. But now we're going to get a look at that crash here from Texas Motor Speedway. Reason for this caution, it was a bit of a 4-wide moment there that DiBenedetto seemed to try to get out of, but it wasn't in time, and he hooked the 7 across the 34, and Suarez gets a little bit of a piece of it. The 17 took a huge hit. The 21 was actually a monstrous hit right there to the outside wall. So, Jay, it looks like now DiBenedetto, he's going to have to rely on the fan vote to get into this thing.
Yeah, he certainly has no chance at winning a stage now in this race or segment. His engine is blown. That is a ton of damage to the car. Same thing to the 17 and a couple other drivers as well. Just I think for the first time, Chris Buescher's been struck with the commentator curse. As soon as I mention, the second that I mention that he's missed incidents, he gets caught up in a big one there and has a lot of damage.
So unfortunately, just with the timing of that caution and the length of the pace laps, stage two does end under caution, and that means Tyler Reddick will move into the All-Star race now, and that leaves just one final segment to go, where we will have a 10-lap dash. So we're going to go to a quick break, come back, and get ready to go green for that third and final segment, as Tyler Reddick is the second guy to join Ryan Preece of drivers moving on into the All-Star race here tonight from Texas. Welcome back from Texas Motor Speedway here in the All-Star Open. We are getting ready to go green for this third and final segment now. 10 laps is all we have for this one. And I mean, we've seen some crazy racing so far throughout these first two segments, Jay, but now we only have 12 cars remaining because of just crashes and whatnot. And now that leaves us Christopher Bell, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Kaz Gralla, Timmy Hill, Chase Briscoe. You got LaJoy in there. You got Davison. And then you got a couple other guys here towards the back. I mean, if you have to pick one, I mean, I think it's hard to choose. But if you have to pick one guy that's going to race their way in here, who do you think is going to be that guy, Jay?
I certainly think that Suarez has the strongest car of these guys remaining, but so far through the first couple of segments, he hasn't been able to find his way to the front. We've seen Christopher Bell and both Eric Jones do it. They're obviously starting on the front row here, so that's an advantage as well. I honestly, I'm going to pick Eric Jones.
And Eric Jones up on that front row, like we mentioned there, but already down to about P3. Suarez with a really good launch into turns one, as they're already going to be going three wide. So the recipe for success here is to not go four wide. Once they go four wide, it is just a catastrophe after that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There's only 12 cars. It should be okay. I would expect throughout the most of this final 10 lap stretch. But currently, Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez going at it for that last spot into the All-Star race. This is their last chance to get in here with 9 laps to go. So it's going to come down to the wire between them two at the moment, but I'm sure this field is going to suck up to them in the next few laps. Sorry, there as we come through out of turn two. But honestly, Jay, if they keep going three wide like this, I mean, that 99, the 20, they could run away here.
Yeah, they really could. I don't think we're going to see that happen, though, just because of how crucial the draft is here and how these guys race like they're at a plate track. So I don't think we're going to see that happen, but for the moment, they seem to be pulling away. And then once these guys kind of get a little bit figured out back there, I think we'll see them catch back up again.
Still got a little bit of three wide going there, but they do seem to be getting sorted out a little bit, so they should run these guys down up front momentarily, I would expect now. As Suarez right there, I mean, he's right on the back of Bell, but doesn't seem to want to make a move, and I think that's probably a smart thing, Jay, because we've seen so far, you probably don't want to be the leader, honestly, right till out of turns two on the last lap, probably.
I don't know if you want to be the leader until you're coming off turn 4. There's just such a big advantage to that inside line that even if you try making a move off turn 2, by turn 3, somebody could be to your inside already. I think you don't want to make the move, much like a play track. I don't think you want to make the move until you're coming off turn 4.
And now you're seeing, though, that they've gotten sorted out. They are starting to close in on that duo of Bell and Suarez. So within just a couple laps time, they are definitely going to be all over the back of these guys here as they come through to just 6 laps to go already in this final segment. Pretty calm right now, but once they all get grouped back up, I wouldn't be surprised if they really start going at it. Suarez now thinking about maybe making a move, but he's had 2 stages with a really fast car. He's had that opportunity to learn what's not going to work and get him in a spot to win. So I think he's just going to lay back here as long as possible. But now as well, with cars being with Suarez, I mean, that's going to help build up that energy and maybe create a run. But I don't think Briscoe's waiting around at all. He's going to look up the inside of Suarez here into turns 1. So, I mean, Bell right now looking in command. There's Chase Briscoe moves through into P2. So, Jay, I think it's not surprising, though, to see these 3 cars up there. They're the best 3 cars here that we got remaining on track. And here they are all out going for this win.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. We really haven't seen Christopher Bell or I'm blanking Briscoe there. We haven't seen them be competitive so far this season, but with so many other cars not in this race, you would expect them to immediately be the front runners, and they are at the moment. I still, though, would not eliminate Eric Jones. He's in a strong car as well. And then also, I mean, you just have to also look at Suarez. He's in one of the stronger teams, and he's been one of the strongest performing guys in the field that we have here at the moment all season long. So if Suarez can find a way to do it, it would not shock me to see him pull this victory off either.
Well, there you see a move from Briscoe. He gets past Christopher Bell as they go down into turns. One Suarez is going to follow through, move up into second place. Only 3 laps to go here in this final segment here as they go down this back straightaway. So Bell not in good shape right now as he continues side by side with Daniel Suarez now. Suarez looking like he's timing everything really well right now as they come through out of turns where he should get clear of that 20 right there. Suarez might not clear him actually as they come through to cross the line. No, yes he does. So 2 laps to go in this final segment, but right there, that's not what Suarez wants to do. He might have just completely thrown his chances away now as he's going to be 3 wide on the exit of turns 2 down this back straightaway. As now Eric Jones might have an opportunity to get clear. He has to get clear right here out of turns 3 and 4. Otherwise, it's all Chase Briscoe at this point now. As you can just see the gap difference. It's over for these guys pretty much at this point, I would imagine. Do you think, Jay, that 43 has enough time to maybe get there and do anything?
He's got draft help right behind him. I think he's going to be able to easily catch up here to Chase Briscoe and maybe try and make something happen, but not when James Davison does that. I think that may now have given to Chase Briscoe.
Briscoe leads the way down the back straightaway. Suarez there on the outside along with Jones. No pressure at all for that number 14 of Chase Briscoe as it come through out of turns for everyone going for everything they can get at this point, but it is going to be Chase Briscoe winning his way in to the All-Star race here from Texas Motor Speedway, and both Daniel Suarez and Christopher Bell on some very strong teams have to settle for missing the All-Star race here from Texas. Very unfortunate for them, but Jay, I mean, still overall we had a great racing product there, and now before we go into the All-Star race. Like I said, probably going to split this up into 2 videos, by the way. So if you guys are watching this open video, the All-Star race one will be out probably just an hour or so, maybe even after this goes out. So stay tuned for that very shortly. But it is time to bring up the All-Star race winner, and it was a landslide. 54% of 252 votes. It goes to Matt DiBenedetto, will be in the All-Star race here tonight. Jay, I knew Matt DiBenedetto was popular, but honestly, I didn't think he would sweep over half of the votes.
Yeah, I didn't expect that when you put the poll out either. I was honestly kind of expecting Suarez to have a pretty good chunk of the votes as well. So a little bit of a surprise to me to see DiBenedetto win it by that much, but honestly not a surprise to see him win it in general. I know or we all know how much he's liked by the fans. And so I think I think it's not surprising to see him win the fan vote. Although I did forget that Bubba Wallace was there too, so it's actually not surprising, or it actually is kind of surprising to see Bubba not win the fan vote.
And that won't do it, though, for this quick episode of the All-Star Open from Texas Motor Speedway. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Make sure to tune in just probably a couple more hours' time, and we'll have the All-Star race up as well. So we'll see you guys for that one where Briscoe, Priest, as well as I completely forget who won stage 2. Tyler Reddick, that's who it was. Those 3 raced their way in, and Matt DiBenedetto would join them along with the fan vote win. So we'll see you guys in a few hours' time from the All-Star race here from Texas Motor Speedway.